Let me know in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Sleuth Intuition Live. I'm going to dive into the Delphi double homicide. Took place in Delphi, Indiana, 2017. If you're familiar with my channel, that is nothing new. And nothing new for the group that I see here today. What's up, Jim? Hey, Melissa, Glenn. Hey, Richard. Miss Thang. All right, we got a full house. Okay, so I was going over the audio that was captured here of the suspect. And to me, it doesn't seem like he's angry. Doesn't seem like he has a sense of urgency. To me, the guy's part, he almost sounds reluctant, like he's not 100% sure what he's doing there. Like maybe he's still negotiating. Like, guys, come on, guys. Like you got to happen, so you need to do what I'm telling you to do. All right. But the get down the hill part, to me, sounds like he's committed to hurting them at that point. He's already made the decision. So my question for you guys is, what do you think? Because I hear people saying, oh, he sounds like he's commanding them. He's very commanding. His voice. There we go. What's up, D? There's no restrictions for today's chat. Just a heads up to all the mods. It's not on subscriber mode or anything like that, so you might see some new faces or get some strange comments. Hey, Grunge. Good to see you. Goat. Here we go. Matt H says the audio sounds controlling. The leak was he impersonated a law enforcement officer, which I can see. So you're thinking that he used a ruse and was just playing the part of somebody of authority. Yeah, that seems like the most likely scenario. I mean, but then again, just by using the ruse, you think that's enough to control um, two smart girls, two smart 14-year-old girls? Or would he need more? Because sometimes I question even if they would have done what he said, even knowing he had a gun. I know most likely they would have, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying there's a chance that people at that age, maybe they don't quite understand um, that people would actually use a gun. So maybe they'd be like, let's just get out of here. I'm under the impression he hit one of them. I have a feeling that he hit them with that gun, and that's why they listened. They may have made fun of him. Oh, he's got a gun. Like, where you expect us to go? And then he was like, you think this is a joke? And the reason I think that is by looking into the Thomas Jerome Bruce case. I mean, this guy, he controlled 3 women, and it was just him alone. So you got to ask yourself, how the heck could one guy, and apparently he was drunk leaving the bar, how can one guy control 3 grown women? Well, he killed one of them in front of the other 2. He told them, you're going to, and his plan, his whole intentions were sexual assault. He says, you're going to do what I tell you to do, or I'm going to kill you. And the one lady said, I'm not doing that. He did not hesitate, killed her. And the other 2 at that point did exactly what he said. And we're talking unspeakable things. Jim says, I think that's the part they left out of the audio is where he was pretending to be law enforcement and making threats. I'm still looking for the word ruse used by law enforcement. I'm of the opinion that that's what happened. You guys are trespassing. You can't cross back this way. Even if it is related to the Anthony shots, Yeah, they're looking for a young guy, but here comes this old guy acting like a cop now who knows where you are because he put you there. 2 things can be true at once. You can walk and chew gum. Hey, what's up, Bird Blue? Hey, Danielle. Yeah, I don't see anybody thinking that he was. Now, if you're older, that'd be a little more convincing, And it does appear that the person either, I'm not sure if their face is covered in Libby's video or if he has a large mustache. I really can't tell. Derek says, it does sound more casual than you would think it would in terms of commanding. Well, let's take a look at, we'll play a piece of the audio because to me, the guys part is kind of extended. Like he kind of drags that part. Guys, like it's longer. Like guys, like I'm not playing around here, like you guys aren't really kind of getting the gist of what's going on here. Maybe I have to show you, and then I think either some type of physical attack, like something extremely violent. I mean, as a young kid, if you get, smacked or punched in the face, you're like, oh my God, that might have been the first time that something like that has ever happened. You're going to be like, oh my God, this guy just literally either grabbed me or punched me or hit me with a weapon. Like, yeah, like whatever, man, just don't hurt me again or don't hurt my friend again. Okay, here we go.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
So that part right there, guys, like guys, or is that maybe him just greeting? Is that the first thing he said to them, like guys, like yeah, I'm here for you. Like hey, I'm not just some random person. I'm not just gonna walk past you. Or maybe he's gonna ask him a question, guys. Hey, and then maybe go into a spiel. Grunge says yes. Gun, yes, of course. Yep, if you slow it down, he says get down the hill. Doug Carter says, yep, the person that you are hearing is one person, and it is the person that's on that bridge. If you're going to go against that, you have to have a really good reason. DFN Goat says, I personally think that he sounded very cool, calm, collected, especially for a person who was about to commit a double murder. Yeah, he's got his hands in his pockets. I can't tell if he's got something covering his mouth or he might even be smoking something. Cigar, a blunt, cigarette, toothpick, it's like almost like he's got something in his mouth.
Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
Grunge Truck says Libby wouldn't have went with him. I don't think either one of them would have. I think they would have taken off. So I don't know. Maybe to be honest, like how would you control these teenage girls? You would have to convince them. The only way to convince them is either gain possession of one of them and to strike fear into the other or both at the same time. So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out who this person is. Is he calm? What's motivating him? He doesn't seem angry to me.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
So he's saying, guys, like, maybe that was the introduction. Okay, let me lay it on here for you guys. Let me, this is what's going on. You're going to do exactly what I tell you. And they're like, no, we're not. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And then that's when something bad happened. And they're like, okay, we're going to do exactly what you tell us until it's time to run, which they most likely did when they got down the hill. And that's just my opinion. I don't hear any urgency there. He's like, guys, or this could be the point where he's walking up to him, and that's what you see in the video. And he's kind of walking towards them, and right when you see the guy kind of change direction, shift to the left, kind of pivot directly towards them, he could have just been like getting their attention, like, guys, like, look, this is what's going to happen. And then boom, out comes the gun. They're like, oh my God, we got to get out of here. But I'm thinking something happened at this point. Otherwise, why would they do exactly what he said? Do you think a gun is enough? And I'm not saying it couldn't have been. He could have pulled out the gun and they could have froze. Be like, okay, that's enough for us, And maybe they were walking down the hill and the killer fell. Maybe he stumbled. Maybe he fell down and they took off running. Hey, Rain Dancer says Sleuth, I agree. Maybe he even showed shortly blank hands to fool the girls and then pulled a gun, maybe also another weapon. Yeah, or he could have struck with his fist, you know? Like they start laughing, like, what, dude? You're not even like a real cop. Pow, right there. If somebody, I don't know if you've ever been punched in the face, but it stops everything. So, flash of light, you don't really feel it. Honestly, you don't feel it right away. You're more shocked. You forget where you were, you forget what you were thinking, you kind of look around for a second, and then it hurts. But it'll get your attention. Yeah, he looks like he's carrying maybe a Glock or a 1911 or something along those lines. It's hard to tell. Even sometimes it appears to be like a revolver. That damn pareidolia. And I think that's why they're focusing on the mannerisms, because it took them all the way till 2018 to figure out, yeah, there's nothing as far as details, unless, I mean, they say they're still looking. So, I mean, if they're still looking, they must think that there is something there. I have a video where Slocum talks about it. They're still looking for details. Yeah, that's true, Jim. Like me, I'm looking like, is the safety on? Because most pistols, they have an area of the gun that it will expose if there's one in the chamber. So I'm looking at that. Is there one in the chamber? Do you have it on safety? How much time do I have before I can whack you upside the head? Hey, Tony. Yep. Bobby Camworth. That stuff's pretty sus. Looks, I don't know, most likely a troll. What, the Bobby Camworth? No, that's a YouTube creator who was mocking the case. DFN Goat says, I have also found it odd that there wasn't more to the interaction. It's like he walked, they immediately knew what he meant. I found it hard to believe that they gave him no resistance. Exactly. Either they knew where they were going and they were just surprised a little bit by who was taking them there, or they were just completely shocked by the entire situation and a lot of weird stuff happened out of panic. You know, you don't, sometimes you just freeze. You're like, whoa, I don't know, like, just don't hurt me, you know? I don't know, Derek. Why does Burston say, um, you know, all you guys in the television, in the television business, you don't see what's over here, you don't see what's over there. And he's kind of making a frame out of his hands. So it makes me think that, okay, and then while he's saying it, you're thinking, okay, well, the bridge guy is in frame. So if he's in frame, what are you talking about? What do you mean what's to the left and what's to the right? If you're not talking about what's actually caught on camera, well, the bridge guy's caught on camera. What's not there? What's not being captured? Is it a perp number 2? Is it an unknown witness that we don't know about? Is it a dog, a pet? Is it somebody in the distance? I don't know. What could he possibly mean? So I don't know. Is there more? I don't know if he's the killer. Doug Carter makes it seem like that's the guy. Yeah. Y says, if you've ever had a gun pointed at you, it'll make you freeze just for a split second. Your decision is made in a split second. Whatever you're going to do, if you didn't figure that out in that split second, it's probably too late. Sorry to tell you. Shay Watson says, "What kept those girls from screaming right out of the gate? They had to know there were houses nearby." Yeah. Well, I covered a string of attacks that happened in Bedford and Bloomington where the perp would come out of the shadows when he found a young person or a woman running alone, and he would was usually wearing a ski mask, had a gun, but what he would do, the first thing he did was he would tie them up. He didn't have much success. Like in early 2016, a woman was able to fight him off, but at gunpoint, he attempted to tie them up. So maybe he tied one of them up or tied them both, up. Okay, before we move on to the next item of discussion, let's go ahead and
Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
and it was obviously edited. The guy's part, there was most likely some other things said, and then law enforcement provided us another clip. Okay, now the vehicle parked at the CPS building. Now, is this just a question mark for law enforcement, or is it an integral part of the case? Does that fit in? Should everything that we consider be tied to the CPS building and either the killer coming or going from that location, or is it just something that was mentioned to law enforcement and they now know? At the new direction presser that they've been screwing up quite a bit, and maybe this information that they kind of look past early on, now they know that it's important and it may mean a lot more than it did before. Or do they believe, like, yeah, we know that that's where he was, we even know who the passenger of the vehicle is, that's why we're asking for the driver? So these are more questions I have for you guys than anything. I think I even have a clip from the 2019 presser. Hold on. Hey, what's up, Jessica? So we can catch up on chat real quick. Hey, Lesbian. Hey, Shannon. Richard says, theory. You two know you're not supposed to be here. You're trespassing. What are your names? I'm calling your parents. Let's get off this bridge. I know a safe place we can cross. Or maybe just come down. And we're going to get into that. Why down the hill? We're going to talk about this piece of information, and then we're going to move directly over to that. And I'm going to play another video. It's about a 3-minute clip from Wild Adventures with Michael, where they actually go down the hill, and we'll take a close look. Hey, what's up, Jane? Yeah, this case has some Zodiac vibes because he would always creep up on a group of people. Remember that couple that was out at the lake and he was wearing that strange outfit? Oh man, that's some scary shit. Imagine seeing that. And you're having a little picnic, just hanging out, doing the whole romance thing. And here comes this fucking nut job. Oh, that gave me the chills. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie. They redid that scene. That was so scary. It's a long movie. It's pretty long-winded, but there's some parts of the movie that will give you chills for sure. Blind Squirrel, hello. Responding to Derek Farmer, the Howard Stern caller wasn't a serial killer. He just wanted the attention. My brother was the New Orleans homicide detective that investigated the case. So did they catch the guy then? Shay Watson asked, do we know how often the girls went to that area? Well, the parents will tell you one thing, but in my opinion, they've been there enough times to know, I'm sure they've been underneath the bridge. We know Abby's been fishing on the opposite side, closer to where she stayed. There's rumors that they would take a shortcut through there. But I mean, just knowing kids, I used to run around town at that age, even younger. My parents had no clue what I was up to because we were free, It was a different time. It's sad that those times are coming to an end because I'm overprotective of my daughter, and that's not fair to her, True Crime with Shannon says, or if Anthony Schott's account is involved, this is a local cop. Yeah, because how do we know how he's involved? Does he have connections with maybe a police officer that's a pedophile? Is there a law enforcement officer who's, maybe received a call from somebody saying, hey, this guy is catfishing my daughter and this is a fake account. He starts monitoring Anthony Schatz. And now he's using Anthony Schatz and Keegan Klein as a way to target his victim because he knows no matter what, he's not tied to it. But if something happens, it'll come back to this Keegan Klein guy. And then when the investigation starts, he can start putting his hand on the scale. Now, there's a conspiracy theory for you. Grunge Truck, maybe both Tony and Keegan are there. Yeah, maybe that's why they use the word driver. They're like, well, we know you were already in the passenger seat, Keegan. We already know that. Or maybe it wasn't Keegan, maybe somebody else is in the passenger seat. They already identified that person. We want the driver. Passenger's not talking. Lawyered up or something, who knows? Well, I put chat on about a 10-second delay. I don't think that was enough. I tried to catch up, but let's go ahead and, because of time, we'll get into some of the information I put together here. And this is a small clip from the 2019 New Direction presser. Early on, Carter mentions the CPS building.
You don't even understand, and you don't even understand why. Information is being released today is the result of literally thousands and thousands of hours of extraordinary investigative efforts by Delphi, Carroll County, the FBI, the Indiana State Police, and countless other agencies. This community surrounded us some 26 months ago, and you did everything you could to support us, but most importantly, you surrounded the family of these two little girls. Gosh, I'll never forget it. After you hear what we're going to release today, I'm going to ask for your continued support, your continued understanding, your empathy and compassion as we move forward to find out who did this, and we will. We're seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building in the city of Delphi that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway between the hours of noon to 5 on February 14th, 2017. If you were parked there or know who was parked there, please contact the officers at the command post at the Delphi City building. We are releasing a
Okay. So I've never heard any law enforcement or anybody that's been communicating with the press and the public state that the vehicle in question or the driver of a vehicle in question has anything directly to do with these murders. It's almost like, side note, we're also, we don't want to overlook this information like we overlooked the Young sketch early on. So if we're coming back to this and we're getting it right with the Young looking sketch now, we might as well go ahead and let you guys know also, this other information that we held. Or were they getting desperate? Was this like them admitting the case is starting to go cold? Like, we're going to give you everything but the pertinent information the killer would have. Was this them laying it all out? They showed the full video. They gave us more audio. They just threw out the CPS building at random. How does it tie in? Because Doug says, I know what happened. I know what happened out in the crime scene. He's like, I know what happened to those girls. So he doesn't need any answers. Whatever happened out there, they know. You have a feeling that it might have taken just a little bit more than a ruse and a gun, even though that could be plenty. Trust me. All it takes is a split second. If you haven't made that fight or flight decision, whatever decision you do make, sometimes you got to dedicate to that. He sounds professional, like a hit. Okay. Keegan Kline and Anthony Schatz were tied to one of the largest pedo rings in Indiana state history. If what we read in the transcript is factual, if law enforcement was being 100% honest when they made that statement. I really haven't seen much on it. We've seen a lot of busts, though, come shortly after that. But if there's somebody, for investigators to say the largest pedo ring in Indiana history, there could be some big names in there. They could have told Kagan and Tony, like, it's either you or them. Or they could have panicked and been like, hey, they already knew what to do. They already were afraid, so afraid that nobody had to tell them what they had to do. They knew that they had to go silence those girls. I don't know. That seems to point back to the corruption stuff. Why not think about the corruption stuff if we're dealing with the largest pedo ring in Indiana history? That could include corruption, right? How else? What would make it the largest, To me, corruption or well-known people would have to be involved, unless it's just on such a grand scale. But I don't know. If you go back in history of Indiana and you look at some of their busts, they're pretty big. So in order for this to be bigger than those, something's got to be going on. And why bring it up at the New Direction presser? Why then? Yeah, it doesn't sound like a request at all. At that point, I think he made his decision. He's like, I'm going to hurt these girls. You can kind of hear it in his voice. Get down the hill. Because for all we know, some of the injuries that the girls sustained could have happened right there. And it's crazy to think this building's not even there anymore. Oh, yeah, he put on so much weight. I have a photo of him. He looks like he's about maybe 230, maybe 240. And this photo was at the end of 2017. That's true, Sweet Sue. Yeah, just Pam and the guys part. Like, come on, guys. Like, even though you don't know me, now you know that I know you. So come on, guys. They're like, we're not going anywhere with you, dude. As a matter of fact, we're going to turn you in. Yeah, coaches. John Douglas says the guy's part reminds him of like a teacher or a coach. Yeah, DFN go, and I think that might have been what led to the running. Vanessa Hay says they thought they were meeting a boy, in my opinion. By the time they realized it, it was too late. Yep. They're like, well, if this isn't the boy that we're supposed to meet, and he's obviously acting like he's obviously not a cop, why is he acting like a cop? Like, we're in big trouble. Like, this is not good. Like, everything just probably started popping in their heads, like all of it. The whole Anthony shots, if it's all tied in the way it seems to be, I mean, all that information probably came crashing down on them all at once. And they were just like, oh my gosh. So you have to tie in to the whole situation, that part of they're already confused. They're like, oh no. So that would have been scary. So that's a big part of the fear right there, just knowing that they've been tricked. Like, oh man, for 2 weeks, I've been talking to this guy. No. TBAMF 1515 says, has law enforcement confirmed guys down the hill was directed at the girls? I don't know if they have or not. They haven't specified or clarified. And it makes you wonder, again, goes back to the burst and stuff. You don't see what's over here. You don't see what's over here. So what is over there? Is he talking to maybe another guy? Maybe two younger guys? Maybe he wasn't even talking to the girls. Maybe the girls already took off running and they dropped the phone somewhere nearby. Or one of the girls took off running and he has one of them and he says, guys, down the hill, like go down there and get her. And maybe it was the two younger guys that chased Libby. And then you got the bridge guy or somebody up on the top just walking down slowly towards wherever they went, knowing that, they got her. But the question is, what is the motive? What would motivate somebody to do all that? I mean, it's got to be profound. Sweet Sue says fear responses are fight, flight, or freeze. In kidnappings by gunpoint, 90% of the time, victims freeze. Yeah, I mean, you're going along by your like. What if you're having like a bad day? You're so pissed off about something, your mind, you're already distracted, and boom, there's a gun to your face. So now you got panic and all this craziness mixed in with the BS of your day. Like, you just don't know how confused you could be at that split moment. Then imagine getting whacked upside the head with something. There's no telling what you could say. You could sit here and say what you would do. Hey, Tech Death. He says, yeah, a punch to the face is a wild experience for the mind. Yeah, it'll jar your senses. It doesn't even have to be that hard. Just like a little thump to the forehead. Imagine something directly to the nose. Oof, that's not good. Because then you got to worry about like a bloody nose. And then all the blood makes you panic. Yeah, confusion on top of confusion on top of confusion. There's no telling what you'll do at that point with a gun to your face. Hey, Freckled. All right. Didn't realize what time it was. So let me catch up on chat, and then I want to go ahead and dive into why down the hill. What down the hill benefits the killer? Why does he want to be down there? Things that I can think of that are down there, there's privacy from the trails. There's private property, for one, private drive. I believe there is camping and fishing down allowed closer to the water. So let me bounce all the way down here. Beautiful One says, maybe he made threats while messaging Libby prior to the bridge interaction. That would explain her resetting her phone. Then when Libby saw him coming towards them, she knew they were in trouble. Yeah, I would like to know more about all that. Honestly. Tech Death says, one time getting robbed, a guy pulled a gun in each hand. He had a strange smile, and I smiled back. It was a weird experience of nervousness. He's like, shit, I picked the wrong one. Hey, Jill. Jill says the gas station, I think, was the meeting place after the murder, so TK and KK could meet up with whoever to discuss what went on. I'm not even convinced about any of that, really. Sorry, I thought I had a sneeze. It's right there. It's coming. I can feel it. Okay, so I want to show a little video clip. It's from a YouTube channel, and the link is in the description already. Wild Adventures with Michael. The video itself is like 50 minutes long, but I just wanted to focus on the 3 minutes they go down the hill, and they kind of give us a good panoramic view of what's going on down there. So let's take a look at that.
On our way back to text them. I don't want to get too close, guys, because this is somebody's property, but this is pretty much where like ends. But it's up to Jacob if you want to. You hurry up.
I'm down.
Go across this, kind of get by that creek. And I can't use my phone to pop up the actual location. Where the bodies over. I mean, I kind of got a hunch, but guys, just kind of work with us. We're just kind of going off. Yeah, kind of going off memory. But I know one of the YouTubers, he was talking. I mean, the chances of this guy making these girls walk down this steep hill is kind of odd. Really, that would kind of make sense. Only because, look, they can put their hands there, or he can put his hands there. Like, if this guy came right here, and actually, matter of fact, I'm going to walk over here. It's going to be safer. But, I mean, the chances of if this guy actually making these girls walk down there, like the one YouTuber said, there's no way that guy would walk down there. I mean, and he looked like he was a pretty big guy. So if he did that, I mean, he'd fall, he'd get hurt, and there's no way he's gonna hurt him. I mean, because if his intentions are to hurt the girls, the chances of him hurting himself is not likely. Okay? Okay, and as you can see that sign, guys, we're really not supposed to be here, but we're YouTubers. We like checking out the unknown. We just want to get across before somebody comes. Anyways, real quick, this is that private road that cars and stuff can drive, or can't drive on because somebody owns it, but here's part of the bridge. I mean, this guy had to know this area. Had to.
So you brought him over here?
No, I'm just walking down over here.
It might be easier to get down there.
Yeah, and so, because the house.
Was this during the day or during the night when you did this?
Like afternoonish, really, like 5-ish.
So you were like someone's probably getting ready to sleep.
Now, when did he kill the two girls? I am not too sure, because I know the next day. Oh, back to more questions. I was watching a video of one of the girls' moms, and I know it was getting dark out, and they decided to call it off. But I think that really made a huge impact, and those girls is.
So we kind of get a good idea what's going on down there. But I want to go back to one of these questions. Heather says, Sleuth, what do you think? What is your opinion? KKTK. Well, I mean, everything points in that direction, at least knowing them or being connected to them or somebody having access to their information behind the scenes. Some way they're connected. It's hard to think that with everything that we've seen, it's just happened. Like it just happened, circumstantial, So I really don't see anything tying TK other than him being with KK in Vegas and his violent past and law enforcement making it seem like somebody that was close to Keegan was using the profile. And I mean, the transcripts are pretty convincing. You got somebody by the name of Adam. You got my daddy references. You got multiple conversations back and forth between different pedophiles. You got the Hannah Rostel, you got the Emily Ann 45 communicating back and forth. Mentions a Dropbox account that somebody using Keegan Klein's Dropbox is sending links to child porn. And that's actually how they found that pedo ring. According, and this is all in the transcript. So if that stuff's factual and what they're saying is 100%, yeah. It's most likely them. It could even be Kagan alone. You know, he could have showed up, parked, went stomping on that bridge as soon as he saw that first Snapchat. You know, well, there you guys are, right where I wanted you. Go down the hill, chased them. Who knows? Hopefully we can find out sooner than later. But the only thing I could think of was the private drive. Was there somebody parked down there? Was there somebody hiding down there? Does the killer live somewhere over there? Why down the hill? Just to get away? Some privacy? Like if you guys go down here, nobody's going to see what I'm about to do. So maybe that was the target location. What do you guys think? Under the bridge, and then the girls ran. So maybe that was the intended location. Somewhere right there under the bridge, and then they were going to come back up and leave. Yep, that weekend, and I think the weekend prior. Lots of kids hang out there. Imagine a warm, no school snow day. And we've heard it said by multiple people that were there that there was a lot of kids there. The good old days when people were normal. Yeah. I mean, my parents had no idea. Every once in a while, I'll sit down and have a talk with my mom, and I'll be like, hey, you know, when you thought we were doing this is what we were actually doing. And she'd kind of plug her ears and be like, la, 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 like, I'm not listening to that. Shit like that. So, I mean, yeah, kids running around like crazy at that age. This is a good question. Shay Watson says, do you think they may have had a taser? Yeah, it's possible. Like I think something happened. There was some kind of an attack, something that convinced them like, oh man, like this person is serious and I don't want to get hurt again. But watching Wild Adventures of the Michael crew go down the hill, you hear in the background, I think it was Jacob. I think he slipped and fell. And they were looking down the hill and they're like, man, there's no way the killer's just going to want to go down here. He's like, he probably wanted to go over here along the edge where the bricks were. And you can hear him as he's going down. In the background, you hear Jacob slip and fall. Boom. Okay, so imagine the girls are doing what Michael's doing, holding on to the edge, and the killer's doing what Jacob's doing and slips and falls. Boom. The girls would slide fast down their, on their butts to the bottom and then jet. And you would expect, if you're going to get in that cold water, not only get in the cold water, but go across the cold water, something has scared you. So the killer that we're looking for is the kind of person that kind of reminds you of TK. I think that's why it's easy to go in that direction. Because if you think about what happened and you put it in that perspective, if that's what happened, it kind of reminds you of the things that we hear about that guy. The whole toilet incident, the biting. I think there was some biting that took place. Like, so it was an assault on a child. Yeah, like basically it was like attempted murder almost. Like what Kagan said in the transcript. He's like, well, that sounds like the guy tried to kill the kid. And I'm a little surprised that Kagan didn't know about that story. See, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. In my opinion, he already knew about the story. So why was he playing? He was playing dumb. That all goes into the character he's playing. He's playing, I'm innocent. Is somebody around me? That's his character's name. I'm innocent. It was someone around me. Remember, Libby wasn't dumb, and he was able to catfish her. Why can't he catfish you or me? I think he already has, honestly. Because I used to kind of feel bad for the guy. Like, oh, man, it's like one of those tragic, his dad was a killer, so now he's a killer scenario. You know? You don't wish him not to be punished to the full extent, or even the death penalty, but you can't help but think about the psychology behind it, like a child. Well, it kind of reminds you of, you guys know anything about the story of the Night Stalker? Like, apparently this guy was like born into just pure rage. I mean, imagine being raised by an uncle. Straight out of Vietnam, I believe. We got somebody calling in. Give me a moment here. Caller, bear with me. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Is this Sean?
This is Sean, mate. How are you, Sleuth?
Good. Good to see you. What's on your mind?
Not much, mate. Just see that we're talking about Delphi and very interested in the case. Obviously, I'm in Australia. You can probably tell by my accent. And I've been following the case since the day that I seen they went missing. And just noticing a lot of, how do you say it? Just a lot of games being played by the police. I'm sick of hearing from the superintendent or whatever he is, the head of the Indiana State Police, that we're one tip away. That really makes me angry. I listened to the murder sheet when they read the transcript of Keegan's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Keegan did it, but I think someone in his circle or someone that had access to this either Dropbox or Anthony Shott's account is obviously the person that's done this. I don't think Ron Logan had anything to do with it. I really don't. I think he just stuffed up and tried to make an alibi because he just didn't want to go back to jail for a driving charge, and I can understand that. I mean, it was a silly thing what he did, but I really don't believe he had anything to do with it. And sometimes when you listen to the guys down the hill, it sounds like to me that the guys and down the hill is two different people. Has anyone ever thought that themselves, or what about you, Sleuth? What do you think? I've only just stumbled across you. Like I was, like I said, I've been following the case and I followed it on YouTube, and then it just got so crazy with all the different channels and whatnot, and it was just too much. So I come away and I just looked at the case by myself on the internet and stuff like that when there was updates and stuff. But now I'm trying to I feel like it's close that they are going to catch someone, because obviously if they pull Keegan out the way the police work, if they've got him in there and they're trying to make a deal with him, and he's obviously got to give up something to lower the time that he's going to get on the child stuff. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you can say the word, but yeah. So he's going to get a lot of time for all what he did, all the child stuff on the internet. So he's going to try and, if he knows who did this, they obviously are trying to get him to give them up so he can lower his charge. You understand what I mean?
Well, real quick, Sean, let's listen to what Doug Carter says here about the guy and the voice and
East side of County Road
all
300
that stuff.
North,
Okay.
Sure, brother. For sure.
between the hours of noon to 5 on February 14th, 2017. If you were parked there or know who was parked there, please contact the officers at the command post at the Delphi City Building. We are releasing additional portions of the audio recording from that day. Please keep in mind, the person talking is one person and is the person on the bridge with the girls.
What do you say to
Okay.
that?
I hadn't seen that clip.
Yeah, because I was confused. This is next time they do a presser, I want them to just answer these little questions if they could, because Doug Carter talks about speculation and sensationalism and stuff like that. And he doesn't seem to mind. He says it's good for the case, but he needs to clear up those things. But you also said law enforcement was playing games. What do you mean, Sean, by that?
Well, why are they not like they obviously have information holding back. They how do they know if they don't release a little bit of information that someone out there just knows something that, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like they're not they haven't released anything about, we only from the leaker, we know the so-called leaker, we know how they supposedly died, but the police have no autopsy, no nothing, just with the way they've done the sketches, like they done the first one, then they come back with the second one. I mean, it just makes no sense. It's like they just.
We don't have a timeline. We don't have a timeline from law enforcement.
Exactly.
That's kind of strange, huh?
I mean, like Australian law enforcement and American law enforcement is so different, man. Like I would, like America has, has some great like places and that, I guess, but I would never travel to America. It's too scary, man. Like you fucking get shot at any moment. Fucking the laws, it's just crazy, man.
Well, we're free, man. We just need better people.
Yeah.
Our next generation will figure it out.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for. Eh?
You also mentioned the one tip. What do you think that is, Doug Carter? Do you think you just want somebody to be like, "Well, I know who the killer is," or what is that one tip? What's your opinion?
That's a good question. It's got to come from someone that obviously recognizes something about Bridge Guy. Family member, yeah, exactly, or a worker, co-worker. I mean, sometimes I think, is it a serial killer? I mean, because if it was Tony Klein, wouldn't they have nabbed him up by now? Like, really, if it was really Tony, like, it does look like him sometimes, but then you listen to his voice and you think, nah, that doesn't sound like him.
I don't know. It happened by a large, there was a lot of water. He could have maybe.
I think the Anthony Greeno.
Apparently, that's what happened with the West Memphis 3. They used a lot of the water that was there and threw it up.
I'm so into that case. I remember the first time I've actually been sitting here tonight. This is how I've found you. I'm actually sitting here tonight because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning over in Tasmania, in Australia. My partner's got to get up to go to work soon, so I was going to wake her up. Sorry, but yeah, and I was watching stuff about West Memphis, and lately I've been watching stuff with Gary Meese or Meese, isn't it? I think it is. Like more or less saying how they are guilty,
Mhm.
and like I've always considered them innocent,
It's a
and
tough one.
I hate the fact that. Pardon.
It's a tough case.
It is, man. Like just they like Jesse Miss Kelly, what? So they reckon that he confessed up to 6 times. Even put his hand on the Bible in front of his lawyer.
Mhm.
Confessed to a couple of screws. I say screws in Australia, prison officers. On the ride to the jail. In front of his mother. And but at least 6 times they reckon. All the stuff that comes out about, like, I didn't know about Jason's alibi, that he didn't even have an alibi.
Didn't
When
they
it comes
find
to
the
court,
knife like in the back of his house?
knife in the back of the trailer park in his in the lake or the pond or whatever you want to call it, in the back of the trailer park. But then they try to say that was thrown in there a year before the murders. But then his little brother, Jason's little brother, said it wasn't. It was thrown in there after the murders.
And did it
So
mark?
you
Did
get
it
all the
match some markings like on the back of the blade or something, or the back of the knife?
the back of the handle on the blade. I mean the handle of the knife. Remember those old Rambo knives, and they have like a compass on them,
I
like
had
a
one.
round
Yeah, I
compass
had
on the
one.
bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had one of those.
Okay. Well, yeah, sweet. They are pretty cool, eh?
hmm
Well, the ball, the compass on the bottom of it was missing, and on Stevie Branch, first off they thought it was a bite mark around. So I
Yep.
think it's on his above his right eyebrow. I might be wrong, could be left, but I think it's right. And they thought it was a bite mark, but now they think it's that he's been hit with the knife, like the bottom
Yep.
of the knife, the handle of the knife without the compass there.
It
It matches
seems
up
right.
perfectly.
hmm
It
Oh
does,
wait,
man. And like,
before we get too far off topic, let me ask you one
sorry, bro.
question about, and then we'll get back to the Delphi discussion here. In the West Memphis 3, they showed the victims' bodies. They showed everything. They showed
Oh, mate.
everything. Do you think that helped the case, or do you think it hurt the case?
I think it hurt the case.
I think so as
I
well.
don't think it helped at all. I think it's disgusting.
You think it was in bad
Have you
taste?
heard, mate? It is. It is disgusting.
I
And
agree.
like, think about it. Think about like the kind of sick men and like the real sickos that are out there, right? Really think about it. That people, do you understand what I'm trying to say? There are people that would enjoy that.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? The people that get on the dark web.
Relive their own crimes.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to. Have you listened to Terry Hobbs' interview?
Yeah, he's
That's
very
only a recent
alarming.
one. Pardon?
Yeah, recently. Yeah, I've heard him recently. I mean, there's a good handful of them out. He's been part of
I don't.
Delphi Facebook groups. He's been he'll pop into Delphi live streams. Terry Hobbs.
He does he? Right. I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure either. But I don't think Terry Hobbs did it. I really. I mean, there is some suspicion. I mean, the way David Jacoby explains the way that he come back and they went looking and the timeline, and it is a bit weird. I mean, there is some issues there, but yeah.
And for those of you
It's hard to
watching,
say.
we're talking about the case. It was the West Memphis 3. I recommend it. It's a very complex case. Just viewer discretion is advised. But back to another question for you, Sean. Here, you mentioned 100% connected to Anthony's shots. Does that mean Kagan Klein or to the profile itself?
I believe to the profile itself. Now, like the law enforcement said that when the account was being used, when whoever was talking to whoever on the other end, they could tell. I don't know how to word it out myself. They could tell it was 2 different people by the way the conversations were, like the punctuations and the way they spoke in the typing. Do you understand what I mean? Like it was 2 different kinds of ways of typing. Like you could tell it was 2 different people. It didn't add up. Like they bring that up in the when they question him and that. So obviously there was more than one. There was more than Keegan using the account, obviously. And I mean, this friend that they don't name, could have had access to it. And like, I don't understand about drop boxes. They talk about this drop box a lot. Do you know? Do you understand what they are? And
I'm familiar with Dropbox because it came out, I think, for the use of music. So let's say you're working on a project with somebody, you can't email
yeah.
your music because it's so the files are so large. You just can't send it through a regular email. So they came up with Dropbox where you could take these huge files and drop them and send them that
Oh,
way.
okay.
So I know it for professional reasons. I don't understand why they would use Dropbox for porn though, because if you know
Yeah.
anything about Dropbox, they lead in reporting the transfer of CSAM. Like they're one of the leading people that report on that.
And what does CSAM understand? What does that stand for? Or you can't
It's
actually
like,
say it on YouTube.
well, it's just child like pornography and stuff like that.
Oh, right, child porn. Yeah, I didn't know because I see some channels they don't actually say it, and I wasn't sure if I could actually say child pornography on your channel. I didn't want to get in trouble or anything.
It's just ugly to hear.
Oh, of course it is. I'm a father. My daughter's about to turn 18 on the 29th of this month. So,
It's one of those words.
I've been. Pardon?
It's just one of those words when you say you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Or
It is a horrible
even
word. It's a horrible,
another tough
disgusting.
one is dump site. Like that's an actual word they use, But just when you
And
say
what's
you're
that?
like dump site.
Oh, so you're just dumping everything, all your files in one place? Is that like that what you mean?
No, I'm talking about in regards to a murder investigation. They'll talk about
Oh,
where
okay.
bodies
Yeah,
were
when
actually
they
placed,
just
like
leave
the
a body
dump-
somewhere.
Yeah, the dump
Yeah, when they've
site.
just left the body somewhere. Yep.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Strange term.
So,
Oh, and then you also said 100% not Ron Logan.
yeah, I don't believe it's Ron Logan. I don't think he could control those two girls. I really don't
Not
think
even
he
with the
could have.
ruse, not with the gun, not with like convincing, maybe grabbing one of
Well,
them.
what didn't someone don't they, isn't there something on the tape that he walks up and someone walks up and says that you're in trouble, you're not allowed to be here or something? I've seen you through your binoculars. Have you heard that?
Mm-mm.
Pardon?
No, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, God, which video did I hear it on? I've been watching that many channels lately, and apparently that's on the 43 seconds or something, and that's because they seen him and got spooked, and that's when he must have grabbed him and took him down the hill, just at the end of the bridge, but like you're saying, I don't know, did he have a gun? Did he have a blade? Like someone said to me, I always said, well, obviously it wasn't a gun because there was other people around and they would have heard the gunshot, and then like Graz was like, what about a silencer? And I was like, shit, yeah, I didn't really think of that, but the way the leaker brings it out, it sounds like it was a blade, like they were,
Well, let's listen to Inside Edition when they interviewed Ron Logan. They ask him like, "Hey, say down the hill."
Yep.
So it's real short.
Two Indiana teenagers. Investigators executed a search warrant at the home of this man, Ron Logan, who owns the property where the bodies of 13-year-old Abigail Williams and Liberty German were found. Cops took away a white Ford pickup truck during the search.
Who is safe here or anywhere else anymore?
Ron Logan is now in custody on an unrelated probation violation. I recently spoke to him about the murders.
You just cannot believe this terrible thing that happened to the community and the families actually happened here on my property in my backyard.
He told me he has an alibi, buying tropical fish 20 miles away.
See, I was not home during the time that all this was happening. I was in Lafayette.
Yeah.
And I didn't get home till approximately 6:30 in the evening. And then the neighbor stopped to ask for permission to look back here for the girls.
Liberty German shot this chilling image of the suspected killer approaching the girls on a hiking trail, and she recorded the killer's voice.
What do you hear on there?
Nothing that I recognize at all. No one. I I don't recognize the voice at all.
I asked Ron Logan to repeat those same chilling words.
Down the hill.
And that image of the suspect?
The picture is of such poor quality, it doesn't look like anyone
Doesn't really sound
I've
like
ever
him.
seen.
Police have not revealed what led them to.
Yeah.
No,
Hold on.
it
Yeah,
doesn't sound like it to me either.
And I've been listening to Keegan Kline also recently, and I used to think he was a good match for it. I don't hear him in
Yeah.
in there at all either.
Can I just say something real quick? I just
Sure.
noticed a comment from Captain Howdy. Said I made a short about the knife and the X mark it caused.
West Memphis
I
3
just
case.
wanted to pardon?
He's in reference to the West Memphis 3 case, right?
Yeah. I knew that's what I'm about to say. I just want to give him a shout out. I've watched all his videos. He does a bloody good job with everything he does. He's very thorough. He how do you say it? He puts both sides very well. Like he gives a good argument for both sides. He stays very neutral. I really like his stuff. Really like his stuff. So I just seen his comment there, and I just say, man, like big shout out, brother. I'm a subscriber, and yeah. So
Yeah, the captain is a
same with
good
you,
friend of
Sleuth. I've only seen you a couple of times. I've seen you through Graz, Sleuth. I was watching you. I think you did you and Graz do something a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something?
No, I'm not sure what he's up
No?
to. No. I don't
Did
think
you
he's on
ever?
YouTube.
Did you ever do
Huh?
a show with him, like a live
Oh, yeah.
or something like this?
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of stuff with him. I think he deleted it all, though.
Yeah, I might have been older and I seen it. So yeah, but that's how I found you through Graz. So, but yeah, I like the way that you think, mate, too.
I appreciate that.
That's no good, man. That's good. Hey,
So, I mean, I covered
Guys,
every point you brought up. Was there anything else you wanted to go over?
no, not really. It's just mind-boggling that it hasn't been solved. It really is. Like, if you think about it, like, you can't. Oh wait, who's that? Is it Missy Beavers that got killed in the church? Do you know that case?
That's a strange one too. Is that the one where the guy came in and it was like a hit silencer and all that stuff?
No, I think it's I'm not sure. I think she was bashed to death. She was doing a workout class early in the morning, and someone dressed in like a police SWAT stuff was going around in the church breaking windows and that. And they've got him on video. Yeah,
I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Yeah, that's a strange case.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one. Very strange. But it just reminds me of Delphi. How there's footage. Not so much that one, but with Delphi, with the footage of him walking over the bridge and the voice, it just boggles me that they can't. Yeah, do you understand what I mean? Like that they just can't work out who it is.
I think that's a part of the appeal. People say
it is, man. It is.
Yeah, let me in here. Let me through here. Let me get at this case. What do you mean? You got audio, you got video. Here, move aside. I got this. It's kind of that thing.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. But I wish you all the best with what you're doing, man. I'll hit the subscribe button and I'll stick around and hopefully we'll chat again. And I'm gonna just start looking into a few more things, and there's a few more cases I'm interested in. So, do you just do Delphi straight out, or you do all kinds of cases, or?
When I'll take breaks here and there from Delphi when I need to, and then I'll dive into some other things. But it's always part of the conversation. All these other cases, we're really just trying to find insight into these killers' minds and just try to find understanding and then see how we can apply it to the Delphi case, really, until we can get that thing kind of solved and put aside. And then hopefully we can move over to Evansdale, see what's going on over there.
Yeah, that's a crazy case too, isn't it? That's a very fucking. That's the very case, and that's not far from Delphi, is it?
Not at all. I think about a 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
Do you know where Waterloo is?
No, man, no.
Yeah, it's out there around
I
that
just
area.
remember hearing that Evansdale and like Evansdale and Delphi were like I don't know, say like 100 miles? Could it be like that or less
No,
from
it's
each other?
like a 6 hour drive.
Oh, okay. So a couple hundred miles then.
Mm-hmm.
But you could do it in a day though, like, you know, if you wanted to,
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
whatever.
Yeah, there and back.
Yeah, just the 2 girls and then 2 girls. But I mean, I definitely believe that Anthony Shots, the account thing is involved in this. I really do. And that's what it's going to come down to. And just before I go, like how they said they had nothing to do with social media. Remember when they said that?
Yeah, I knew better. That's the one thing I can say. After everything that I've been through, the one thing everybody knows that I knew better. That's my claim
Sweet.
to the case. I knew better.
Yeah. I've got a channel sitting there ready to start up, and I've got it ready there. I don't know. I'm just I'm just nervous of trying to get it going and doing like what you're doing now and that. Just, you know, I get a bit. I'm very nervous. I can't even look at the camera. I don't know if you noticed. I look around everywhere, so I don't know if I'd be able to do it. But yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't mind to.
I'm still a mumbling, stuttering prick. So think about it. It took me a year to get to this point. So
No, you're doing bloody well, brother. You're doing really
thanks,
well.
man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate
Well,
it when I get callers like you. You know, that it makes things much easier and more entertaining for everybody, including myself.
yeah, well, I'm glad, man. Hopefully, we'll speak again. And yeah, like I said, I'll hit that subscribe button, and we can talk about some other cases one day or something. Yeah, and
Sure.
yeah,
All right.
like I said, I appreciate you having me on, and let's hope they get this guy soon.
Sean Donahue, it's been a pleasure, and yeah, we'll do it again soon. I promise.
Thank you very well, Mr. Internation. Have a good night.
Take care. Bye. All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes. We'll hang out in the chat since we had a caller, so the chat has been somewhat, for the most part, neglected. Appreciate it. Like I said, anybody can call in and hang out live if you'd like to. Appreciate everybody who's participating in the chat. Hey, Boston, good to see you. Good to see you, Heather. Thanks for hanging out. Wanda. Tina, Ophelia. Says Greeno cellmate says it's not wrong. Yeah, I keep hearing it's like very retro. It's like first, I don't think it's Ron. It can't be Ron. And for some reason, out of nowhere, I think it's Ron Logan. It's like, why does that happen? Appreciate you, Sean. Shout out to Sean. If you want to put your, didn't you say you had a channel there? Thank you, Shay. Thanks for participating today. Aw, snap. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Derek. Good to see you, Freckled. Can't wait, Sean. Thanks, Vanessa. Good to see you. Dang, girl. Wanda's a warrior. All right, Ophelia. Good to see you as always, Turbo. Big up to Turbo, Havoc. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. Shout out to Sean Donahue for calling in. Appreciate it. And everybody participating in the chat and who's catching the replay. Later.